Well, good Friday morning and welcome to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. And this morning, you can see us on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. I'm your host, Colin Worthington. It's part 3 in our Back to School series on the Community Voice. This morning, we're speaking with representatives from the Carroll County School District. Sitting to my left is Sandra Morris. She is chairman of the Carroll County School Board. And sitting to my right is Scott Cowart. He is the superintendent of schools for Carroll County. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
So Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Tuesday, August 3rd, you guys are psyched up.
We are.
Yeah.
We're ready.
It just zips on by there. The summer is just gone. I mean, but I'm sure you know. I see where you guys attend things during the summer months, so it seems like you're not taking a break during the summer.
You know, our folks were really busy this summer. In fact, we probably had more going on this summer than we've ever had as far as getting students on campus, our teachers busy in workshops and trainings, and our leaders getting ready for the new year.
Well, I want to remind our watchers on Facebook that you can post a question and comment up there on the News Talk 1330 Facebook page, and I'll be sure and look at those and share those with our guests. But first of all, I figure one of the big questions everybody has is going to have to do with COVID. And, last year you guys chose to, I don't remember the exact word, maybe you strongly encouraged use of masks or just encouraged mask wearing during the school year last year. Numbers are starting to pick up. We saw Tanner release numbers yesterday, 44 people in the hospital due to COVID, and that's up, I guess, over the last 2 weeks from 4. So the numbers are rising. How are you guys approaching this school year as far as masks? And I assume you have all the other precautions in place from last year.
Oh, absolutely. Last year was such a different experience in so many different ways, and we learned a lot of lessons and learned how to do some things and some things that maybe we need to do even better. But as we enter this year, we're going to follow the CDC guidance as far as recommending masks in our schools, and that allows then people to make that choice, from that recommendation of what they will or will not do. But we understand that, and it's important to recognize all the other layers of mitigation that are in place beyond just the face covering, the physical distancing that's in place that we'll continue to practice this year every time possible. In schools, there are some situations where it's not quite practical, but where it is, we'll continue to try to physical distance, as well as all the encouragement of hand washing, use of hand sanitizers. We'll be disinfecting spaces in rooms continuously. We'll be defogging buildings every evening and doing a number of things like that. We worked on air filtration systems for our HVAC systems, and so there are just a number of things that are in place. What's really interesting is to hear the schools talk about the lessons they learned about some of their practices and processes during the day. About how to best maybe drop off and pick up students, or how to handle getting kids to and from lunch, or how to handle some of those structural things in a day that sometimes we don't think about. But they found ways not only to try to keep the kids safe, but also it was more practical and made things easier in the day. So really proud of our teachers and our administrators, all the people in our schools, our bus drivers, for the job they did last year to keep our children safe, and we're going to work really hard to do that again this year.
Back to masks. You say recommend masks. Is that going to be for students and staff as well?
Yeah, yes, okay. Recommended masks for everyone indoors.
Okay. Scott Cowart and Sandra Morris are guests on this morning's Community Voice program. Every year we do see a little bit of turnover, principals and teachers, things along those lines, bring in new teachers, and some go off to do other things. How about new administrators this year that you can point out? You want to give a shout out?
We've got 2 new principals this year up at Villa Rica Middle School. Samantha Green will be coming to us. She started a career out in Carroll County, and then she went up to Carroll to the city, but she's going to be back with us this year at Villa Rica Middle. We're really excited to have Samantha there. She's a Bowden girl, Carroll County girl. We're really very excited for her in the Villa Rica community. Also, then at our alternative program, we've got Miss Cheryl Clark, who was currently over at Central High School as assistant principal for 3 years, and she'll be taking over that program, which includes our Goal Alternative program, also our Extended Day program, which allows kids who've dropped out and want to come back and get a diploma to do that in an online fashion. And this year we're adding a different component to our alternative program, where we're adding an online campus opportunity for our high school students.
So is it the virtual learning?
Yes,
Is it the-
for high school, and we had been moving in that direction for a couple of years, and I think last year that with all that we experienced with COVID, it kind of accelerated our understanding and knowledge of how to do that, and the practicality that some of our high school students really needed, that opportunity, that was where they could learn best. And so we've got that up and running, and we'll start the year with just a little south of 100 students on our online campus.
They're doing that. Are some of them doing it because of still COVID concerns, or maybe they have a job? Is that another reason for doing it?
Both, and others. Some of them it's just the way that they feel like they learn best, and some of them, I think the work situation kind of plays into it. There may be some that are doing it because of COVID. One of the things that we've done with that online campus is an application-based program. And so the students have to, apply and have the academic wherewithal, attendance, behavior, those type things, so that they will be able to be successful in the program and make sure that they get their work done.
Time right now is 8:36. This is the WLBB Community Voice Program. My guests this morning, Sandra Morris and Scott Cowart, and hopefully we'll let Sandra talk here in a second. But I think all of my questions probably do target towards Scott. Yesterday, Gradic Sports hosted the annual media day for the local football teams, which makes me think about these new jumbotrons that each team is getting. Tell us a little bit about those.
Well, it's just, I think, another step that our district and our Board of Education has taken to invest in our communities and opportunities for our children to have the kind of experience that we want for them, and our communities to kind of have the experience that we would want. They're really exciting. We were getting a jumbo board up at Villarica High School as a part of the stadium project there, and the recognition of what it was going to do for the experience, I think, allowed our board to see fit to invest in our other 4 schools, and so we're really excited for all 5 of them. We'll get to see it for the first time next Friday night at Bowden High School and at Temple High School. They both have scrimmage games, and the board will be up, and folks will be able to see what it's about and how to be used, and so we're really excited. In fact, I just saw one of the promo videos this morning they sent to us as an example. Mm-hmm. It's going to be pretty cool.
I think I saw some things online when they were, I guess, doing their shots, taking pictures and stuff for the in-action shots. I mean, it's going to look just like watching Fox Sports or Monday Night Football.
The quality is just amazing. It's going to really be good.
Yeah. Is that a money-making opportunity too? I mean, when you got a picture that big too, and you're going to put up sponsors up there, it seems like you.
Oh, absolutely! It'll be a great marketing tool for our schools, and we'll help them as they try to encourage partnerships with our community and those that want to support what's happening on our school campuses, and just a great way to do that. And I know partnerships is one of the big things that we've been focusing on lately.
Before we take our first break here, something else you guys have invested in, I want to say over the last 2-3 years, is safety and safety equipment at the schools. Did you make any changes, additions this past year? Maybe tell us about Friday. You guys had that workshop with local authorities.
Yeah, this was I think our 9th safety summit. We partnership with all of our local law enforcement and first responders, and bring all of our school safety teams together, and then we do scenario-based training with them before we start the school year, so that we can make sure that we have in place the protocols that we need to deal with certain situations. It's been very beneficial to our schools, and to make them be, I guess, reflective of maybe where they are prepared and maybe sometimes where they're not prepared. And I think the key component of that is, again, the partnership we have with our local first responders, the Sheriff's Department, and others, and the fact that they're at the table. So let's take a school like Ithaca Elementary. They'll have sitting at the table first responders who will be engaging in that discussion with them as they're talking about safety.
What are some of the safety measures? I mean, I understand there's need a card to be an administrator card to get to certain places. What's locked up in schools? And I guess, are they all the same? Are they all at this point?
Yeah, we've worked, and our board has invested, I guess, over the last 4 or 5 years, really, in a number of measures. in reaction to just the continued desire to make sure that our children are as safe as we can provide for them on our campuses. We have a card system where, to get into schools, once school started, you have to be carded into a door, or the door has to be unlocked from within. We've got camera systems across all of our schools now, which have been really beneficial in a number of ways, not just from the safety way, but just in the keeping up with what's happening in the building. And so that's really important. A third really cool thing that the board invested in a couple years ago was what called the crisis alert system, where there's a way in each classroom for a teacher, if they've got an issue, to notify administrators immediately, and then even first responders.
A button under the desk, is that something like that?
No, it's not under the desk. We don't actually divulge exactly how it works, just for obvious reasons, but it's not a static button, I guess to say. But it is really, I think, really helped our teachers feel more secure and comfortable, that they know that they can get help quickly if they need it, and it's really helped our administrators to respond quicker. And so the cameras, the card systems, as far as getting in and out of the doors, the crisis alert system, those are all things that have been invested in over the last few years, and that, as well as just, again, working with our safety teams and our local first responders. The number of resource officers we have, especially in our high schools and our middle schools, is really there's a comprehensive approach to keeping our kids safe.
There's the good old days when teachers just had to worry about just teaching. Now they have so many other things they have to deal with. We'll take our first break here on this morning's Community Voice program. Time right now is 8:42, and the Community Voice is brought to you by Tanner Health System, Oak Mountain Academy. And questions and comments, I encourage you to post those to the News Talk 1330 Facebook page, and I'll look for some of those right now during this break. We'll have more after this.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
At Oak Mountain Academy, our daily schedule includes convocation, prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance. By doing so, we build a family-like community where all students grow and flourish and personal faith is encouraged. Through community service and a historical approach to biblical study, our students are taught the value of the warrior way, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Oak Mountain Academy. We are a family creating legacies. To learn more, visit oakmountain.us.
Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3, also streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. And this morning we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. Looking to the Facebook page right now, we have Jill Bruce Eisen, who says, thank you for giving a choice or recommendation about masks rather than a mandate. And she says hi to Sandra as well. Let's see here. I got another one that was sent to me personally. This one's from James Camp. He says, for the schools that don't have an SRO, is there a plan in place to let trained and licensed personnel carry concealed weapons if they volunteer to do so?
Currently, we do not practice that because we've got such a good relationship with our emergency responders, and we can get them on site so quick. So at this time, we're not doing that.
All right. James can't get on Facebook, he said, so I guess he's working and listening to us, so appreciate him sending that to us. Let's talk about partnerships with a lot of the nonprofits that do work with you guys, and of course Southwire. They had a hiatus for about a year as far as their 12 for Life program, but that's coming back this fall. I'm guessing you guys are excited to bring that back for students.
We're very excited to have Southwire coming back. 12 for Life has been one of the most important partnerships that we've ever had. It has rescued a lot of children, a lot of families, and we're very excited to have it coming back. I believe this fall it will be back. It will be a little smaller, but we'll work back up to where we were before. So it's going to be a great time.
I did talk with them a couple months ago, and they did hope to have their numbers back up, I guess, by after Christmas. How about PASS?
PASS is full force. The board decided to go ahead and invest to make sure that all the schools are covered with that. And that program has just been a lifesaver for so many families, so many children. It has helped increase our graduation rate. It has really given a lot of teenagers hope to graduate. Mm-hmm. And it's also helped them fulfill their dream and their pathway, to figure out what they want to do in life. It's a great program, and I strongly encourage anybody that wants to donate or help to seek out that organization.
See, up until about 2 months ago, I think that there were schools sharing PASS representative, right? But now, do they all have one individual now?
Everybody has their
everybody
own
have
now.
A dedicated advocate this year.
Yeah.
And tell us, for those who don't know, tell us exactly what PASS does.
PASS, people, just the common public would think they were counselors, but they're much more than counselors. I mean, they actually do case management. Kids are identified who are at risk of dropping out of school, and we get with them and we figure out what their problems are, and we find resources. They may need help getting, utilities on. They may need help at home with counseling, jobs, food, anything that you can imagine that would keep them from coming to school is what PASS does. And it has just really saved so many children and kept them in school.
How did you guys see COVID last year? Maybe some students doing a lot of virtual learning. How did it affect the graduation rate for Carroll County District last year?
Well, and that was something we were really concerned about, quite honestly, because of the impact of the virtual learning. We started out last year with right at 3,300 students doing virtual learning out of our 15,000. As the year went on, we kept reducing that number. We ended the year with right under 800 in virtual learning. But what was really exciting, when it got time to graduate, our graduation rate for the third consecutive year was over 90%, and we're going to be right about 93.4, 93.5% probably when it's all said and done. We got a few kids finishing up this summer. So we were really excited because, that's a testament, number one, to the students, even in the environment that they faced last year. But it's also a testament to our teachers and the job they did to meet every kid where they were and to move them along, whether it was a virtual kid or a kid that was in school or a kid that, maybe had to quarantine or something and has had to do digital for a couple of weeks. Our teachers did such a tremendous job of determining how each kid needed to learn.
And parents, too, because they had to keep their kids motivated on that. My son did the virtual learning for at least the first semester. And wanted to help him, wanted to be helpful, but he wasn't patient for me to kind of reread things and go over. He's like, "Dad, what about this?" I said, "Well, let me check it out." No, forget it. He had to move on and take care of it himself. But parents had to be involved in that to keep them going too.
It's amazing how many stories we heard from parents that their appreciation for teachers went way up as they worked through trying to help their children through virtual opportunities. So it's a recognition that it's not easy, and again, so it's a testament to those students, the teachers, the parents. In fact, our entire community, the way it stepped up and tried to handle this situation, and the commitment of this community that our kids need to be educated. It's not just our school system. You look at every school system around us, that the understanding that face-to-face, when we can make that happen, is what's best for our children. And so hats off to our community. We're thankful and blessed to live in a community that really cares about students and what their future means.
Time right now is 8:48. Before we do take our second break here, about a month ago, people started receiving their assessment notices, property assessment notices in the mail. And, you can look on Facebook, and I'll take phone calls. People a little frustrated to see their properties had increased in value. And then I guess the people in the know, there was like, well, slow your roll a little bit. This could all change, once the millage rates, the millage rate will affect that. So far, every government or school system that does affect those millage rates has decided to maintain their millage rate. So those prices that they saw will probably be pretty accurate for what they will have to pay this year due to those increased properties. You guys also maintained the millage rate. And while the millage rate is low, and I think it's one of the lowest in our area, it still will increase taxes. Can you guys talk about that? I mean, is there something else that you guys are losing money somewhere that you would have to get money from the millage rate increase, or do you know why additional money would need to be collected?
I'm going to let Mr. Cowart answer that one. I finally figured it out with a lot of help from Delene Strickland, but I'm going to let him explain it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things to acknowledge is that, again, I'm very appreciative to our Board of Education, not just this year, but for several years. We do have the lowest millage rate, really of any school system around. And so we're very excited about that, and want to continue to be committed in that area. And at the same time, just like every entity around us, we're faced with rising expenditure costs and things that are being passed on to us. The cost of everything is increasing. And so as we look at what we want to do to continue to invest in our people, number one, we need to continue to do things to make Carroll County competitive and get the right people that are in front of our children and can support those people. Also, we've got to continue to provide the supplies and equipment that our children need. What's interesting, we learned to do all this digital and virtual stuff, and it just accelerated the need to have more and the most up-to-date technology available for students, and that's ongoing. Once that gets started, you keep moving forward and trying to ensure that you're doing that for children. And then the upkeep of our facilities. Another area the board's really invested in over the last 3 years is purchase of buses. Just getting our bus fleet where it needs to be. We put 150-something buses on the road every single day, twice a day. And we're one of the largest geographic counties in the state. And our fleet, unfortunately, is one of the oldest fleets in the state. And, buying a school bus is a very expensive proposition. It's right about $100,000, give or take, a bus. When you've got 150, when you think about a replacement cycle, that's a number of buses that need to be purchased every year. So all of that put together, and then the state dollars. One of the things that a lot of people don't recognize when you look at state dollars, when a local community reduces its effort locally, then you get a reduction in state dollars.
And that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. And so that's a major thing that we look at to make sure we keep our effort so that we don't, at the same time, reduce our state dollars, which would be like a double hit for us if that happens. So it comes in two ways from the state. There's what they call equalization money, and which we get a good amount of equalization money, and that goes to low wealth school districts to help them mitigate the issues they face with not having as high property tax value as some people have. But also you get it on the side of the QBE funding, which is the funding per child. So both of those things are driven down if you drive down local effort.
I should take a break here, but I get a question. People ask me this all the time. Title I school, what does that mean?
A Title I school means that particular schools' free and reduced lunch percentage, the number of children who are on free and reduced lunch, reaches a threshold where they get additional federal funds to help support those children, if there are learning needs or needs to remediate or need to support outside of the typical dollars you would get from a state to do that. So that's all based on the percentage inside of a school.
And every time I think you had 4 schools, Title I schools, that I guess were acknowledged for improvements.
Yeah.
Great.
We just recently had 4 of our schools that were in the top 5% in the state of improving student achievement. I think that's one of the things I want to point out. It's not just saying that their scores are good, but they look at the scores and what's the percentage of improvement you have in a year for the kids who are struggling the most.
All right, time is 8:54. We're going to take that final break and come back with about 5 minutes on this morning's Community Voice. Again, I encourage you to post your questions and comments to the News Talk 1330 Facebook page, and we'll touch on those when we do come back. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
At Oak Mountain Academy, our academic excellence shines through innovation and a personalized educational experience. Our pre-K 3 through 12th grade environment offers a family-oriented atmosphere. We are an independent school with faith-based values and an Academy Honor Code. Our academic standards prepare our students for college and beyond. I'm Patrick Duran, headmaster, inviting you to visit us on the mountain or at oakmountain.us. Come see how our warriors are creating legacies.
Eight 55. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. And I'm your host, Colin Worthington. Our guests with the Carroll County School District. Want to go to Facebook real quick. Lisa Childress says, hope all the staff and cafeteria workers have a blessed year and be safe this year. Tyler Paul Smith, District 18 State Rep. He's a big fan of this program. He says, thank you, Sandra Morris and Dr. Scott Cowart, for adapting, improvising, and overcoming so many obstacles presented by the pandemic in order to continue educating our youth. And Brandy Spears says, thank you for letting us make the right decision. Yeah, Jill Eason had said that initially, but yeah, Brandy Spears saying that too. Thank you for letting us make the right decision for our individual families on whether our children wear a mask. With 3 minutes left to go, do you guys want to make sure you shout out to some community partners?
Well, we are a community school. Many years ago, the board decided they didn't want to consolidate and have 2 or 3 big schools. We wanted our communities, and that has been blessing for us. So we reach out to the community, and many times we don't even have to reach out. But people like Southwire, they do so much. They've got their big back-to-school event tomorrow. Of course, we've got 12 for Life. We've got the Engineering Academy. We have PASS, which does a lot, and they reach out to the community a lot. Of course, our Sheriff's Department and all the law enforcement, they do so much more than you can even imagine. Carroll EMC offers grants to our teachers, and our teachers are really taking advantage of that opportunity, and they've been very successful. UWG and, of course, West Georgia Tech, they are great partners. We've got the Council on Aging, who has started partnering with PASS and with some of the schools to provide some things for them. The list is tremendous. The churches have gone out just overboard helping. They've adopted schools. Who am I forgetting, Mr. Cowart? The partners.
There are so many. I think one I'd like to give a shout out to is Tanner Health Systems. Mm-hmm. And we think about the last year in the pandemic and our local DPH, our local health providers, but especially Tanner Health Systems was so helpful to us during that time. And I think back to last March when the vaccines were first being rolled out, and they gave us the opportunity for our educators to have a dedicated day to get the vaccine, and they made it happen. And it was the way they structured it and the way they handled it made our teachers feel very comfortable, very safe and secure. And I can't say how much we appreciate them and all the other partners that Ms. Morris talked about.
All right, guys, we have
one more shout out to Graddick Communications. Last year we got to watch football, even if we weren't in the stadium. Right. So thank you. That was very important to a lot of people.
And I believe they're doing it again this year too, right?
Matt Skinner's great.
Yeah. All right, one more minute left, guys. But I know Carroll County and Haralson County and some other counties locally are working on obtaining a grant where help with broadband. I mean, that's got to be beneficial for students and educators.
Oh, absolutely. We learned how much we needed last year, and we continue. Really proud of the partners and the grants that were written last year for us to get hotspots in our community, but also excited about what's happening with Carroll EMC and others who are partnering together right now to expand broadband, because it's not needed just for the school system. It's really needed for our community and to grow our business and to give people the opportunity to be a part of the economy that's now in our world.
Are we seeing people take advantage of the hotspots? I mean, I just wonder if they're going to leave their house and go do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Great. Guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on another year. August 3rd, Tuesday, Carroll County Schools returning to the classroom. If you missed any of this program, we're going to post it up on our website in the podcast, newstalk1330.com. It'll be the first program archived under the podcast section. And, of course, it's on the Newstalk 1330 WLBB Facebook page forever. Appreciate you tuning in today for the Community Voice. As always, brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy. I hope you have a great weekend. It's going to be hot, so be careful out there.